So hi, Pete Montfrey here, and I'm sitting here with my friend Rob Balon. So you might know Rob from dining out with Rob Balon on KView or KLBJ, but there's some things probably you don't know about Rob Balon. For one, it's Dr. Rob Balon, right?
Sure.
And what's the doctor at in?
Statistics and media.
And so there's another little thing that you might not know about Rob Balon is that he is a marketing research guru and author of books and a whole bunch of other things that don't involve eating delicious food. And so I thought I would badger him today.
They can.
It does. It overlaps a little bit.
They can overlap. In fact, we always try to make a little overlapping occur.
That's awesome. Well, that's even better. Why in the hell would anybody want to do something so boring and instead of making a fun website and/or brochure?
One of the things that market research does is enable you to spend that money and save that money in ways that you hadn't thought. Because the more you know about your audience, Pete, the more you understand who they are, the more you understand the dynamic of the customer, the less money you waste. And the more proactive you can be and go after your clients and creating your marketing messages and pinpointing and targeting who that audience is. Something you can take to the bank and say, hey, we can act on this. This is something we can do.
Right.
And that's what we're all about at Benchmark.
This is what I've found is it's really hard to get people to understand that sometimes research is the major investment in a strategic planning process. And a lot of people don't understand the connection between what happens after the plan is done. And it really, in fact, my whole concept of marketing really is about research. And I think that's been lost. I mean, marketing is one of the most misused terms, I think, on the planet.
Well, you look at one of the probably most top 5 influential people in our industry. And I say our, meaning and advertising and market research really do have a lot in common, even though oftentimes they don't think they do. They have an abundance in common. One of the guys who really understood that was the founder of Ogilvy and Mather, David Ogilvy.
Right,
and
great book.
Nobody who got it better than he did. And he said the most important word in the vocabulary of advertising is test. T-E-S-T. And you look at most young advertisers today, tell them that it's anathema to them. They go, test? You're going to test my creative, my vision has to be tested by some fools in a focus group? No way,
Right.
But he got it, and that was years ago. And I've never read anything to this day that has been as dead on, as spot on as David Ogilvy was with regard to his concepts of research and how to utilize it.
And that reminds me, so go to Amazon.com right now and get Ogilvy on Advertising. This is an old book, but it's one that I've often said I wish every client of mine would read that book. Before hiring me, just read that book.
A lot of executives overestimate what their audience really understands and really knows.
Right.
As a result, they make flawed approaches toward advertising that work on one basic assumption, that Joe Blow gets what this is really all about. And in many cases, Joe Blow doesn't have a clue.
Right.
Joe Blow is suffering from choice anxiety. There's 26 different kinds of mustard on the shelf. And after the first 2, he's forgotten the rest of them, has no idea. The person who is devotedly and assiduously attempting to market mustard number 22 doesn't quite grasp that. To him, that mustard is the be-all and end-all of mustards. And to the customer, it's another mustard.
When we're talking about a buying process, it's a human process. So therefore, it's really hard to predict and it's really messy.
Yeah.
And so if you don't spend the time to talk to your customers, and do these basic kinds of research, there's a pretty good chance, even though you know your business really well, there's a pretty good chance you're going to get, you're going to get 80% of it right, and that other 20% is going to come back and bite you. So you mentioned buying choices. There's some hot buttons there. So what's the best research to find the hot buttons, the things that people say, oh, this is the best choice?
Well,
in a B2B environment.
Yeah, what happens is you have to break your audience. First, you have to segment your audience because there's 2 types of responses. There's the early adopters who will jump on anything. You've seen this. The first time that the first smartphone that came out, they were standing in line, and it wasn't me, not just at a B2B level, but a B2C level. Either one doesn't matter. They were the first ones in. So what you got to do is understand first who you're dealing with. All right, is this guy the kind of guy who is so tech savvy that he'll jump over everything simply because of the technology, and then find a way to back his argument in because he's infatuated with the technology? That's your first case. Your second case is the guy who, I'm charged with making money for my company. I don't really care how we do it. The key is we just need to do it. So one way or the other, we got to figure out who these people that we're targeting are and what their goals are and how they go to sleep at night, and what they care about, and what their impressions are. Research that can show you the customer from the standpoint of their needs, their gratifications, the things they care about, the things they're passionate about, and more importantly, things they don't know about.
Right.
And you can learn tons of lessons from what they don't know, as opposed to more than what they know.
Yeah.